I was unaware of BNI 17 years ago. I met Nate Dominguez at a networking event when he was in his early 20s. Nate told me a little more about BNI. I joined a chapter that had like 12 members. I want to go back and just tell you the things that I did in BNI offline, which still apply today, and they apply online and offline. The first thing I did to build a relationship with the members of BNI and the leadership of BNI. This led me to a huge opportunity because, there were 4,000 chapters. So I set up lots of appointments with people from BNI just to get to know them. So when you meet somebody, you want to set up a time to get to know them. And if you want to ask them for their advice, that's great too. They're going to ask you what you do. That was the first thing. I set up lots of appointments. The second thing is I took every opportunity to speak. So if I had an opportunity to speak for 1 minute, I spoke for 1 minute. Every week at our BNI meeting, you get an opportunity to talk for 20 seconds. And then, once every 6 months or so, you get, I think, 7 minutes from the stage or something like that in front of the group. I took every opportunity to speak. And also there were opportunities that would come up as a result of the meetings that I was having with people from the chapter when they found out what I was doing. So that was another thing. I hosted some potluck parties. This is another thing that you can do is you be the one to say, I have a place that we can, pull some people together. And if you've got a place that would do that, you be the one to host it. That's a way of serving the group. I donated when people asked. So I look for opportunities to donate to the causes that are important to the people in my network. The next thing is I stayed consistent, meaning that I didn't disappear for weeks, months, or years like some people do. I stayed consistent with the group and I stayed in connection with the group. And that means I sent everybody a card at least once every 2 months. Everybody from my chapters, I was only involved in one chapter at a time, but I would send a card to everybody once every couple of weeks. They'd go into a group. I went to most of the events. I couldn't go to all of them, but I did my best to get to most of them. I stayed close to the fire. And then lastly is I shared info that I felt could help other people. So if I read something or met someone that I felt could help someone in the group or others in the group, I would introduce them. And so I'm always looking for ways to serve. Set up lots of appointments, took every opportunity to speak, hosted some potluck parties, volunteered, donated when people asked, stayed consistent, looked for referrals for others, went to most of the events, stayed close to the fire, and shared info that I felt could help others. And so you can do that online or offline, any of that.